Can you hear me now? Oh, I think it works. Yeah. Hello, hello. Is this better? Yes. All right. Good. Thank you for your patience. I'm just checking to see there are some issues that some people are having. I am not sure uh, what is happening exactly. From the looks of it, our service provider somehow had a network issue with one of the servers, so um, things broke for some users, so I had to handle that. Apologies for that, which is why I am just a little bit late to starting this live stream. All right. So I'm just monitoring things a little here on our Discord to make sure that everyone having a smooth game. But other than that, um, I'm going to start the stream and talk about all the cool stuff that I've wanted to talk about. Let me just post a link to our stream in the League Discord. So if people want to join us, they can do so. Where's the... Where is... There should be... Motion... Self-promotion, there you go. Alright. Just keeping an eye on things. Okay, people seem to be having access to their games again. No issues anymore as far as I can see, so I think we're good. Sorry again, everyone who have joined us earlier, and thank you for being with us. All right, let's get started. So today we have some really cool stuff I want to talk about. You can already see the little announcement here. But before we get to that, I want to touch on a subject first, which is the recent release of Foundry VTT's version 10. I believe you can see the release notes here for the version 10 release of Foundry, which has reached the stable name, stable channel. We do not yet recommend users switch to the V10 because you probably depend on a game system. I mean, that's not probably, that's a certainty, but you also probably depend on various modules which may or may not be compatible yet with V10. It's also a very recent release, just a week old at this point, and while it is marked as being stable, it might not necessarily be completely stable for you yet. So it's something that is definitely worth keeping in mind. And also there might be some issues with running your games on V10 on the Forge. We are continuing to monitor that and improve it and fix any issues that we find. And just this morning, we released an update that fixes support for shared compendiums when you create a new one. We will be working on a fix for existing shared compendiums, because that is an issue that V10, if you don't have a shared compendium that's specific to a game system, it will not appear at all. So we want to fix that for our users, and we ask that you be a little bit more patient while we work on that. There's new bugs that are discovered every day. This morning also we released a fix that wildcard tokens were not working properly on the force, so we fixed that just this morning. And there's more things that are likely to be brought to our attention. So for now, it is not our recommended version. We still recommend users stay on V9. Another very important thing to know is that once you upgrade to V10, you cannot downgrade back to V9. So if you just want to give it a try, then you might be stuck because you can't go back to V9. The only way to go back to V9 is to restore from a backup that you would have taken of your game before upgrading to V10. So that's very important. And with regards to backups, we'll be talking about our save points feature, which we have released, which I'm very excited about. And you'll get to see that, which will likely be very helpful in such situations. But I'll talk about it in just a minute. Apart from that, V10 is a really big and awesome release. You can go to the Foundry website and see what's new in this video. It's an 8-minute video that goes through all the various changes and all the various improvements that have been brought to Foundry V10. Among them, I think vision modes is a really spectacular feature that I'm sure many people will be excited about. There's new ways to access journals and things like that. So I will let you go watch that video, see all the new features that V10 has brought. But again, I'm going to ask people to just be a little bit more patient before actually jumping into the V10 release. So apart from that, there's also a module that we would recommend that you can check. It would be in the bazaar, called Module Compatibility Checker, or MCC for short. So Module Compatibility Checker will show you that during our Bazaar showcase. It's a free module developed by Arcanist with contributions by Michael Leahy that will give you a very good overview of your modules and systems and which have been ported to be V10 compatible and which haven't. And you'll be able to get a really nice view to let you know whether or not you are ready to move to V10 or you should still be waiting a little bit. So that's about it. I'll showcase that, or rather, I believe Destiny Gray will be showing that to you later during the Bazaar showcase. But let's say that you have upgraded to V10 by mistake, and you did not take a backup, even though we warn you multiple times. Please take a backup before you do the upgrade, and you end up in a situation where you have broken your game. Your world does not launch, or it's completely unusable because you depend on very specific modules that are not V10 compatible yet, etc. So what happens then? You should be restoring your backup that you would have taken, or you can use our new save points feature, which is a really cool feature. It's been in the works for over 2 years now. We have promised this pretty much since day one, since we released the Forge. It was one of the features I've been wanting to do, and it's gone through so many different iterations to get it to a point that will be usable and really great for you. And you can read our blog post here about it. So if you go to just from like resources, adventure log, which is our blog, you'll be able to see our latest blog post, Checkpoint Reach, which talks a little bit about the history and how this feature works. And we'll get to show you that today. So one of the cool things about this is that if you are, for example, on World Builder tier, you will get a snapshot, like a save point. A save point created automatically as soon as you upgrade your world. So that's going to be very useful. If you want to go and create your own save points, you can do so at any time. You can also enable autosave, which will automatically save a save point for your game every time it's idle. Basically, every time that you stop your game, or you've played the session and now you go to bed, you wake up and there you go. There was an automatic save that was taken off your game because it noticed that you started it and you poked at it, and yeah, and that gives you this UI basically that you can go from any of your games to look at save points. Like this here, we also have automatic backups that I'll get to in a minute, but this is a really cool feature. And so let's say you have these save points like this, and you can revert your game to a specific save point, or you can clone from that save point. Let me show you here. Actually, we have a game ready here that unfortunately has been defiled by one bitter player because their character got killed. Um, so they defaced the game. Let's say they did that. What do you want to do? Well, let's see. We're going to simply revert the game. So I'll stop the game first, and then I can just go revert to this point, and we can just wait for it. It's relatively fast, and it will just basically revert the world to that save point from earlier today at like about an hour ago, which is when I took this manual save of my game. Before, you know, I kind of had a suspicion that a player was going to be defacing my map. And there you go. So the world was restored to that save point, and you'll notice there's an automatic save that also happens just before a save point was restored. So in case you reverted your world to the wrong one, and you're like, oh no, I lost what I actually had. I do want those changes because I thought there were no other changes. Other than DM is bad on the map, but actually there were changes that I made that I forgot about and I don't want to lose them. Then you have your automatic save automatically. You can revert back to that one, which is really nice. There's also things like, oh well, yesterday I can create a new world, so I can clone from this specific save point, and I can just restore that game from that date automatically, which is really nice thing that you can do. Other than that, you can go to the save point page. Note that this does not require you to even enable Game Manager, because the Game Manager is a really great feature, but some users may not want it. So, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't want it, but if they don't want it, they can still do all of this without having access to all of those games separately there, because they can just go here and access all of their worlds and browse the save points of the worlds that way. Do note that you won't be able to have any kind of automatic save for your worlds in that situation though. So I can go, let's say I deleted a world, I can always go and say to the save points page and see recover deleted world tab, and oh, there's a world that that had a save point for, so I saved it at some point in the past, and then I deleted that world, so I can always recover my world from that save point, which is really nice. The other thing that I can do is, let's say that I made a mistake, okay, and I deleted a world. Let's say test in V10. I deleted that world by mistake. delete this. I deleted the world by mistake. See, so my world was restored, that one. So I deleted the world, but I never had a save point for it. So it's not appearing here. But what I can do is I can look at these dates in which the Forge has taken an automatic backup, because we do take a backup every day. In the morning, basically, we take a backup, and I can go and say, well, I'm sure that I had it last week, so I can go September 2nd, and then it will search in our own backups. So there it is. It just found that game from 5 days ago in our automatic backup, and I can restore it from that specific game save. So the interesting part here is that we have a Forge-wide disaster recovery backups that we take every single day, a backup of everybody's worlds. But you can see we don't keep many of them. So we keep the last week and then a few for last month. Then from 2 months ago, we just keep one. And, in a few days, you'll see those dates changing because they get deleted occasionally. So we don't keep many of them, but it should be enough that you can go back almost 2 months in the past to recover a world that was deleted, for example. But generally, it would be more of a, oh, I deleted the world now, let me recover it from yesterday. Obviously, it's not a perfect solution because maybe you had changes today that you might lose because you don't control when those saves are happening. But you can always recover that world, which is really the important part here. Another really important portion of this is that if you do not have World Builder, if you have not upgraded to the World Builder, so you have never used save points, you will still be able to recover your games because they'll be available here. You would obviously need to upgrade to World Builder to be able to recover them, but you don't need to say, oh, now it's too late. I deleted my world by mistake, but I can't do anything about it. You can still upgrade to World Builder to get access to the save points and recover your world from the day before, for example. So that's really great as a disaster recovery method. All right. So that's kind of how it works. And you can see here, let's say I'm just looking at this one. So I have one save game that I took here. I can also display the automatic backups, and so I can just do a clone or a revert on these from any of the old recoveries, any of the old automatic backups on any of my worlds. And if you don't have any manual saves or you don't have any auto saves, it will automatically just show you all of the automatic backups available to you. You can see here this one, for example, it says world not found in backup. If I try to clone here, it's searching the automatic backup because it does take a while and it needs to search, and then it will tell me, oh, it wasn't there. But if I look for yesterday, I don't know when this Vtts was created. I think Destiny created it yesterday. So yes, it's there. It's in the backup from, this morning. But it's not in the one from last week. So this is kind of how it works, and it's really great, and I think very easy to use for our users. I'm very proud of the feature, the functionality, the ease of use, the user experience, UI, everything. I'm very, very proud of everything that we've accomplished here. It's been in the works for over 2 years, and I'm super glad to finally be able to release it to everyone so that everyone is able to feel safe that their data is not lost in case of a disaster or anything like that. So let's see. I do want to point out that at any point, as a regular user who might not be on World Builder, you can always export your world. There's always this button to export world. There you go. It's just been exported and saved in my folder, and you can always, import back that world just like that easily, and so as a user, you always have that ability to export and import your worlds at any time. But it is a manual work. Like if you do it once a week and suddenly you delete your world after having worked on it during the week, maybe you lost some data. So that's why the autosave feature, the various save points, etc., and it gives you this extra quality of life, this extra ease of use, and it goes along with our turnkey solutions on the Forge that we want to make things just as easy as possible for all our users. So we're you get that extra thing that we're so good at providing the users without having to remember every time to export your world. So I hope everybody loves this as much as we love it. And if you do, if you want to try it out, check out our blog post here. There is a coupon that's Save Points 10 that will give you a 10% off on the World Builder if you want to upgrade. And contrary to previous coupons that we did that mostly applied for the first month or for a yearly subscription only, this one should last for a full year. So if you just want to upgrade to monthly World Builder, you can also do that and you'll be able to save that 10% for the entire year. Or if you want to upgrade to yearly, that 10% goes with a 10% yearly discount. So that's like 20% off on the World Builder tier. So it's a really great time to be upgrading to finally get access to this feature. And I do want to point out that the coupon will only be available until the end of the day, Sunday. So by the end of this week, you'll be able to do it. After that, it's going to be too late. If you are already a world builder, I do want to let you know that you are not forgotten. I don't know if I have a subscription here that I can use. No. But if you are a world builder, you can go to your managed subscription. There should be a little button here that says renew, and you can click that and apply your coupon at the same time. So, if you've been 2 months into the world builder, then it will be extended another 2 months. Let's say you're on yearly, it will basically reset your billing cycle. It will renew, and it will allow you to use the coupon right now, which is great. We've had some feedback from users who are like, "Well, I just subscribed yesterday, and now I'm stuck not being able to make use of this coupon." So we added that last time. So current users can always reset their billing cycle and make use of any promotion that we release. So that's about it. I mean, I showed you how to take a save point. Actually, I didn't show you how. But let's say I'm here and I just want to do a manual save during live stream, and I'm taking a save. I mean, I don't need to give it a title, but it's always nice to be able to remember what that was about, even though you get the date. But it's just like that. You can just give it a name, click save, and your save point is created that you can always clone or recover at any point in the future. So that's our save points feature. I hope you are all excited about it. That being said, let's move on to the next thing we want to talk about. So there's the League of Foundry VTT developers who have the package jam. I did mention that last month, but it has been extended because the Foundry V10 release was delayed a little bit from what we were expecting. So the current deadline for the package jam has been extended until Monday, September 19th. So if you are a developer or you want to become a Foundry VTT module developer, this would be a great time for you to release your package. Make sure it gets approved. You can read all of the how to submit your package, etc., in the Foundry Hub website, and check it out. It's really cool. And there are prices among them, there are gift cards from the Forge. So do check it out. If you are a developer, that's really going to be interesting for you. We are going to be posting the link in the chat on Twitch. And I also want to talk about a really cool feature that Foundry Hub is releasing. If you have not seen the announcements yet, Foundry Hub has an integration with Weblate, which is a translation framework um, that's really cool. It's really great. You can check out the announcements news basically on the Foundry Hub website, and you can also check out the actual Weblate um, account, not account, subdomain, where you can see we've added our Forge Compendium library there to be translated. We added Viewport and DL Open, which are our other free and open source modules. You can see we just had English earlier, and we now have Finnish, French, and Portuguese that have been translated by community translators, and that just happened in a couple of days. So this is really great. And so if you are also like a Foundry developer, you can submit your modules to be added, and you'll be able to see things like how many strings there are, what's the various translations. You can suggest new translations. You can convert to translate to a new language and things like that. So it's really, really cool. And the really nice thing about the integration with Weblate that Foundry VTT Hub has done is that it will automatically send a pull request to GitHub. It will automatically change the manifest to include the new languages and things like that. So if you are a translator, you don't need to be messing with JSON files. You don't need to know how to send a pull request, how to use Git, or any of that stuff. You just use this interface to suggest your translations, and it will automatically do them for you. Do all of the grunt work with Git. Give me a second so that I can actually send the links in the chat here. There's for the package jam, and here is for the translation stuff from Weblate. And the reason I'm talking about this is not only because it's really cool, but also because you have this upcoming release that the Forge will do, which is to add internationalization to the website. This is something that we've been working on for a long time. We had to put that project to the rest for a little bit of time for various reasons. But it's getting really, really close to being done now. So that's really exciting. I was hoping to have that mostly done for today, but I think that's going to go for probably the next dev update that we'll be doing. So we'll probably have our own Weblate site for users to potentially give any suggestions for translations that you might think were incorrectly done. But yeah, it's getting there. I wanted to let you all know that you will soon have translations for the Forge. If you go to the workshop, you can see our various projects, and internationalization as well as the Patreon integration are still in developments. And yeah, Save Points was just completed. That was in development until recently. One last thing. Actually, two more things that I want to touch on before we get into the Bazaar Showcase and doing the $20 gift card giveaway, is that we have closed the submissions for the job applicants a couple of weeks ago. We thank everyone again for submitting their applications. If you did, we appreciate the time and the energy spent and your interest in wanting to work for the Forge. So thank you for that. We are almost done reviewing every applicant. We received a ton of resumes, and it's taken us a lot of time to go through everyone's resumes, giving them the time they deserve to be looked at. And we'll be sending interview requests or rejection emails within the next week or two. So you can expect that to happen soon. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. And the final little thing is with regards to sales tax. As you know, we started last year to get sales tax in some select U.S. states, and as the Forge grows and our tax obligation grows with it, we have also now added, as of September 1st, sales tax collection for West Virginia users. If you have been subscribed with the Forge and you were in West Virginia, you should have already received an email letting you know about the additional collection of taxes for West Virginia. But I wanted to also give that information as part of our update today. So yeah, that's about it. We will be doing the gift card giveaway as soon as we are done with the Bazaar Showcase. We have some really cool stuff to show today, and I believe it's time for Destiny Gray, our friend here, to start. I don't know if you're sharing screen, Destiny. I'm going to switch to the Discord scene. Destiny. Give me a second here. You're muted, I believe. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
There you go.
Let me choose the specific window. All right. Okay. So just a heads up to the live stream. I have been having some minor issues with my internet, so if I cut out, Kakaroto is going to have to take over.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Today we're going to be showcasing a good mix of free and paid packages. We have quite a few to show off today, so we'll get right into it. First, let's take a look at our module management here. You might notice that the module management looks a little different from core. There's some random packages highlighted in green, and then other packages that aren't highlighted at all. This is something that you'll find very useful for when you upgrade to V10, as this is the module compatibility checker. This is a project by Arcanist and I believe Typhon.js.
Yes.
Where the goal is to show the compatibility of modules when updating. So let's open this thing up. As you can see here, it shows this nice little diagram that shows how your modules are being updated or not. For instance, archived, I can see these are getting eclipsed for V10, meaning they will no longer be updated, which is good to know. You can remove all the filters and get them back and see which ones are updated. And you can even see which modules aren't listed for compatibility. It's a great free tool. You can download it on the Forge. You can download it if you're self-hosted. And we cannot urge using it enough. It is incredibly useful, and I highly recommend using it when upgrading before you upgrade to V10. I believe you were just talking about V10, right, Kakaroto?
I was, yes. And just by the way, I posted that on the chat, but please type hashtag #SavePoints to enter our giveaway. I forgot to mention that before we started, but
and while you're in chat. Doing that, I'm also going to share the nice little Bazaar Showcase information. There we go.
All right.
And I need to also paste this in the Kickstarter and compatibility checker. Oh, welcome to first time chatting, Dr. Cat Dad. So, MCC Just look up MCC on the Bazaar. It's a module. It's free. It's also freely available if you're self-hosting and you're tuning in for the live stream. We just want to make sure that your games survive and do well. And while a lot of modules aren't updated yet, most of them will be, at least most of the popular ones. And we look forward to seeing you on V10 in a stable manner. Right. So now we'll be
First thing
showing
I'm
off.
noticing is that I don't see the defamation there on this map anymore.
Yes, I will note, however, and this is something users should be wary of. Kakaroto restored to the wrong save point, and so I had to add some of the stuff back. So just be careful when you're restoring your save point.
Okay.
But you should be. I think the save points should be saved still, even if you restored to a previous one, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was actually one of the things I mentioned during the demo of the save points, that if you, for example, restore to the wrong save point by mistake and you delete some stuff that you were expecting to recover, then you get an autosave that happens automatically just before you restore, so you can always go back to the thing that that you were on, basically. So you could have again restored to the state with the defamation just before I had myself restored that save point.
That is awesome. So we get right in here. The graffiti has been brushed away. The grumpy player's vandalism is gone. And now we'll be showing off some premium packages. Stay tuned. We'll also be showcasing one more free package, and it'll be a free adventure. So, we'll be starting with this nice package from Mark Drummond J. This is the Cactus Forest package. For those who are used to using Mark Drummond J or have seen his work before, you might recognize his style. He draws very lovely alien sci-fi like maps. As it's getting closer to October, I thought I wanted to show off some of his more spooky stuff. We see here that your players are in a somewhat unusual place, like a desert forest with large cacti trees everywhere. And you have tokens moving around it with good dynamic lighting, so it feels like actual brush cover. And you can see here that you can still see the beautiful, luscious greenery even with it obstructing vision, thanks to Foundry VTT's amazing terrain walls. They've taken the time to set these up, and it looks so much better for it. Your players can navigate through and pass under trees. They can get up to trees, but I believe if you use arrow keys, yep, it'll block you, and it'll block it if you're a player. I can only move through the walls because I'm a GM. So it's a nice hard work that they've put into this, and you can see that there's other versions of the map. For instance, let's just pull one up real quick. So we'll just go ahead and activate it. Straight to this map. Easy as that. And all these maps are hosted for free, and suddenly your players are in. You could bring your players to a bandit map instead. Maybe some bandits have set up camp inside a deep cactus forest, where they use the dangerous spines and flora and fauna that make up this forest to provide them some good cover against intruders. This map and this mapped package is kind of perfect for whatever your needs are, as long as you need a cactus forest. But honestly, maps like this, I also like to create my own kind of encounters out of it. Like, I use it to inspire me. Like, a lot of Mark Drummond J's maps, I use them in their inspiration to build encounters around. I don't have an encounter in mind and then use a Mark Drummond J map. So they're kind of good both ways. And honestly, if you've ever wanted to run a Vancian type novel adventure, something like the Dying Earth series, his maps are also perfect for it. So I won't go on too long for this because I could talk about Mark Drummond J's maps all day long. But this map package is $9.99 on the Bazaar Marketplace. It comes with preset walls and dynamic lighting. And very importantly, you get all these maps stored for free. No storage cost against your account.
And there's many different variations of the maps, correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Next, we'll be showing off a fun one. users might be familiar with the Goblin Explorer and their Endless Dungeon series. We've showcased it a few times on the Bazaar Showcase by now. I like how broad they are. They're generic, but not too generic, so they can be used in so many adventures, but they're not too exclusive or anything. Uh, by that I mean they're not boring, but they're widely applicable, if you get what I mean. This is a map from their issue 3 of Endless Dungeons. We have some good lighting here. You see these light sources placed all throughout the map. We'll go ahead and drag in Nosferatu here, and we can see that Nosferatu is able to walk through here, and there's this beautiful lighting. There's decorative skulls over the floor. Maybe these doors could use some maintenance. And if you move over here, you'll see that someone's spilled raspberry jam all over the ground. So
Clearly.
somebody needs to clean that up. Maybe that could be part of your encounter. If you've ever heard of Viscera Cleanup, it's a funny little game on Steam where you have to clean up after action game heroes. So like you have to clean up the military base in like GoldenEye or something after James Bond destroyed it. And maybe you can make a one shot out of having to clean an old necromancer's lair. That would be hilarious.
When will you do that for us? I wanna play
Look forward
that.
to the Halloween one shot, Kakaroto.
Okay. Okay.
So let me show you real quick the scenes that come with this. So we have a Demon Lord map that's furnished and unfurnished. So if you want to customize this map a bit, you can do that. And you can also, maybe, do a spider den. For those squeamish about arachnids, I don't think it depicts spiders, but you might want to look away anyway. So we have another map where it's a little labyrinthine, and there's just mummies people wrapped up everywhere, mummified, maybe alive. The
I'm sure
spiders
they're
are kind
alive.
enough. The spiders are kind enough to keep lighting the braziers, which is pretty nice. I mean, that's really polite of them, really. Like they should be commended for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that each of these issues have at least 4 levels to it. So you really are getting a bang for your buck with all this pre-made lighting, these walls. Like, I get so many dungeons from /r/battle maps, and it's nice, but you know what's really nice? Having it all pre-walled for me. This map pack, by the way, only $5.
Nice.
Incredibly cheap, great great value for what you're buying, and I honestly love it. The final
Awesome.
bit of content I want to share with you guys is the music that's been playing the entire time. I'm not sure if my audio has been playing through the share screen. Has it been doing
I
so?
don't think it had, but I did open the game at the same time, so it's playing for me, so it should be playing for the others as well. So maybe we didn't hear it for the first 30 seconds or so, but it's really nice.
So this is Tavern Music Volume 1 by Michael Gelfie Studios. Michael Gelfie is honestly the king of ambiance. You have Mick Rowe Music, who's good at making dynamic, actiony music that leads the mood of the scene. But something I really love Michael Gelfie for is how his music is a great underline to the stuff you're directing. It's good without being overpowering. Yes, Fee. It's just so fitting, and you have these 7 tracks here, and they can be so broadly applicable for your worlds. There's 7 tracks here. If you're running a city campaign like I'll be soon, you could have a tavern track for each and every single tavern. Like maybe a tavern could have its own theme song. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it makes me want to sleep. Like this music, it's so appropriately named to Enchanted Lute because it just feels enchanting, you know.
Yeah. Here, let's wake you up a bit. Let's play Rogue's Heart.
Okay.
It'll take a second to load. Makes me want to adventure. Absolutely. It's so happy, and but not too happy. It's just, like I say, it's an underline. Okay, so we have something a little sharper, a little kind of you can kind of feel the rogue's heart here.
Yeah.
It's building towards something slowly. Your player's entering a dungeon and they start hearing this music. It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to give away too many of these tracks, but they're pretty good. I've never heard a bad Michael Gelfie track.
Yeah, only positive things. Great artist.
Yes, indeed. So you can get this package for $12 on the bazaar. Each of these tracks are incredibly long. I can't imagine how long it took him to make an 8-minute song. Oh, it takes so much time to make us. Anyway, I heavily recommend his content in general, but especially this Tavern music. I think he's knocked it out of the park with this album, and I'm definitely getting this for my upcoming city campaign. So, we'll finally get to the last package, the free package I teased earlier. I've been having this in the corner.
Yeah, I just want to remind people in Twitch chat that we only have 4 people right now in the giveaway, so you currently have 25% chance of winning a $20 gift card. So if anyone is following and has not yet typed hashtag SavePoints to the chat, do so to be entered in the giveaway, which we'll be doing after the showcase here.
Yep. Thank you, Kakarota. Yeah, guys, get in on this. Easy $20 gift card. That's a month at World Builder and a little extra for the next month, or it could be 2 months, 3 months at Storyteller, roughly, or
all 3 of these modules that you're showcasing.
Yeah,
in our bazaar.
You could get Michael Gelfie's album here and the Endless Dungeons issue. Yeah, there we go. Another entrant.
There you go.
So, we get a story here. A guy is having trouble charting the course of a star. He walks out. Villagers are whispering and making holy signs to themselves. They're all staring upward. He raised his eyes and studied the night sky. He didn't see anything. The realization hit Foldus like a pack of bullets. There wasn't a single star in the sky. What a knocker of an introduction. Kelfasil hit it out of the park with this ambiance. When you enable this free package, because it's free, it's a free adventure module exclusive to the bazaar, you get a full adventure that you can automatically import into an existing world, and you can see it, finished importing it all. You have all these maps all pre-set up, all with dynamic lighting. You have all the NPCs set out. I'll try not to show it for too long to avoid spoiling you. But you even get all the adventure stuff set out. Kelfasil has been an evolving writer, and he's gotten better and better at it, which is crazy for how prolific he has to be. And now he's I hope he's not peaking, because I'd love to see even better stuff from him in the future, but we're seeing something really cool, because this is part of a promotional thing he's doing to promote his new Kickstarter, Starlight Arcana for 5e. It's going to be an awesome 5e supplement and campaign with some beautiful custom art. Let's go ahead and pull it up real quick here on Chrome. So you see here some beautiful cover art. It's so moody and dark and just lovely. There's this mysterious figure at the front. I want to throw this enemy at my players. It's going to be such a thick tome, and it's going to come ready for Foundry VTT, which is just awesome.
Yeah. I love seeing more and more of these Kickstarters doing these big book stuff with VTT, Foundry VTT support right out of the box, which is really great.
Absolutely. So, you can get, randomly, let's go to You can see here that Kelfasil gets maps from existing creators that he licenses with their permission, and you get some very interesting stuff here. So I don't want to spoil too much. I have to go away from it. But again, this adventure is free, guys. It's free. All you're spending is a little bit of time to look into it. It's such a banger of a teaser, and you can download it from the Bazaar, and you can use it anywhere. We now offer Manifest installation on the Bazaar as well. So if you obtain a package on the Bazaar, you can much more easily install it locally too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to be it for the showcase. I hope you will check out these package, and I definitely hope you'll check out the Kickstarter. I'm going to once again link the stuff in chat, but that's it for me, Kakaroto.
All right, thank you very much, Destiny, for this showcase, and let's switch back to my camera view here. All right, so thank you, Destiny, and we are going to be doing the gift card giveaway. So if you have not already, I'll give you a few more seconds to type hashtag SavePoints in the chat to be entered in our giveaway. There's currently only 5 people, 5 entries in it. So the chances to get a $20 gift card are pretty high right now. So feel free to do that. And I just want to thank every creator out there on the Bazaar who is outputting this really great content to help all of the DMs get access to ready-made adventures or ready-made maps for them to incorporate into their own adventures. It's really cool to see all of that stuff. And I wanted to also thank Kelfasil for the Starlight Arcana sampler adventure that he gave us as an exclusive for the Forge, available only on the Bazaar. That one is pay what you want, including free, like Destiny said. So if you want to just get it for free, just give it a try, feel free to do so. If you want to give a little something to the creator Kelfasil, you can do so as well. So that's all up to you. And Mouse 0270, what you are entering is a giveaway for a $20 gift card to use on the Forge. And so one of the things that Destiny also mentioned is that even if you're not a Forge user, when you purchase something on the Bazaar, you get a manifest link that you can use to install your package on your local Foundry VTT, and that's something that you can do very easily. So let's do the giveaway. All right, let's do this. We're gonna move this here, show you, and let's draw. Japes 42 is our winner. Hopefully they're still here. They just like 5 minutes ago entered the giveaway, so hopefully they're still here to be able to claim their gift card. Yay, there you go. Japes 42, congratulations. It has now been officially closed, and Japes 42 is the winner. I will be sending you the gift card via private message in just a little bit of time. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for participating. And now we go to our Q&A section. So if you have any questions for us, anything you want to ask, whether about the Forge in general, about anything in general, or about some of the stuff that we showcased today, then feel free to ask your questions. I'm here to answer them. So, do we have any questions for us today? So, random question. What did you think of D&D Beyond preview of their 3D tilt view VTT-ish thing? That's a great question. I didn't give it too much attention because it was like less than a second that the VTT was visible. Although they showed these kinds of other views that I think were pre-alpha views of the VTT, but I'm not entirely sure if that's just a cinematic view that they did for the video or if it's how it's supposed to be played. But there was a couple of seconds where you could see with kind of like the UI, the HUD, or like bars on the minis and things like that. So that was more likely to be what the VTT looked like. It reminded me a little bit of Tailspire, which looks really good. I think that you have these two, or I'd even go and say three different types of gameplay that people have. You have the theater of the mind, obviously, where it's you just have this kind of artistic rendering of a tavern or something like that, and you just play theater of the mind. Then you have the 2D top view that we see with Foundry VTT, with Roll20, and the other VTTs of the similar style. And then you have these new kind of VTT shift towards Tailspire and what appears to be the D&D Beyond VTT. And it's three different ways to play. It's not necessarily that one is better than the other, but I think one will be better for a specific person based on their personal tastes, right? I personally have not played in those kind of 3D settings. I know that, for example, for Foundry VTT, the Ripper 93, I believe, has made some 3D canvas modules that look absolutely gorgeous, and they look very similar to what we've seen from a 3D style of D&D VTT, D&D Beyond VTT, or Tailspire, or things like that. And if that's the style that you want, then you can probably look at that, and you might enjoy that. But I personally have not played those. I think they look great. They are more video gamey than tabletop-y. I don't even know if that's a word. But I think the difficulty in those is that setting up your world, creating it as a DM, prepping to create the content itself to play in, is going to be much more difficult for the average user, whereas the 2D view is much more easier to set up. So that's, I think, the biggest challenge that you'll have is the build tools. If they're able to do a good job of creating build tools that are powerful without being overwhelming to the users, then it might be a good thing. My biggest worry with that whole thing is that the D&D users will likely go with the official VTT by default rather than looking for an alternative that might be better or fits their own needs better. And the second issue is that it will very likely be D&D only. So if you're a Pathfinder or any other game system, you probably won't be able to use that type of VTT. So it will be very limited, and they'll control the user experience to a degree that you won't be able to manipulate it as much as you generally can with something like Foundry. All right, I just sent the gift card to Japes42. Let's see, what else do we have? I think if they don't allow external modifications like module for VTT, it's never going to take up. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever allow it. I think it's probably going to be about selling the books with the VTT 3D models, and selling minis and things like that. I mean, they did branch out to selling the dice, for digital dice rolling within D&D Beyond, which I think has been very cool and very good for them on the lucrative side. So starting to sell digital minis is also going to be something really interesting for them from a business perspective. So that's probably what they'll do. And if they want to make that possible, they can't allow anyone to make any kind of modification or module that potentially could just bypass their whole system, right? Oh, you can create your mini on Hero Forge, for example, and just bring that into D&D Beyond. That would cut into their own revenue stream. So that's probably why I don't expect them to open that kind of community creation. Love the 3D tokens from Hero Forge. Will always use flat map as its way, so too easy. Yeah, great job with the save points, by the way. Look with all the V10 chaos that will undoubtedly be coming. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you. Yeah, I think V10 is likely to be a bit less chaotic than we might expect. I think it's just that we need to wait for the module developers and system developers to port their modules. That will take a little bit of time because the disruption in the API and how things work on the Foundry V10 side is a bit of a larger gap this time around than in previous iterations. So porting your module is not about spending half an hour or an hour to just change a couple of things. It's probably multiple days or multiple weeks of work. Like the save points, for example, would have been released last month, but we had to delay it for almost an entire month of development to just test and make sure things were working properly with the Forge on V10, and we're still not done, So there's a lot of work, which is why, V10 has been released for a week now, and it's been for more than a month in the testing phases, which you would expect potentially that module developers would have already done the port of their modules, but that has not been the case, and that's mostly because of how difficult it is and how much work is needed. Yeah, she just spent a week updating your module to V10. Yeah, that's kind of the feedback we're seeing from various module developers. It takes a lot of time. It's much longer to do. And so it depends. If you have one module, it's one thing. If it's a small module, it's one thing. If it's a large module, it's going to be very difficult, very different. If you have 5 or 10 modules that you're maintaining at the same time, that's going to be even more difficult. So you can imagine, for example, all of the 3D stuff that the Ripper has done, those modules will take a long time, I expect, for them to get ported. Dice So Nice, I think it might have been ported to V10 already. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't checked the compatibility list in a while, but that's a pretty large module, so I would expect that to take longer than, I don't know, something like a smaller module, like Polyglot, for example. So, you know. So, suggestion for save points backup. Figure out some way to streamline backing up shared compendiums too, maybe as part of asset sync. No, it's just a little too opaque for most users, I would guess. That's a good question. So compendiums, yeah. Um, we don't support save points for things that are not worlds right now. I did set things up internally to allow something like that to happen in the future, like backend stuff basically, but we don't actually support it. We don't do the backups of those. We don't have an easy way to do it from a UI standpoint as well. So um, that can be a bit more complicated. I think if I think the thing with compendium packs is that either you have your own homebrew compendiums, in which case you you would generally set them up and then forget about it. So you can always make that backup. If you have like all the other companion packs are generally coming from modules or systems, so those are already kind of like specific to a version of a module. So you generally don't modify those. And so you have your shared compendium, you modify it, you create something, and then it stays there. That's your compendium. That's like your homebrew monsters or whatever. Worlds are the things that are living, the things that change every day and things like that. So that's where having a save point and backup of that ever-changing content is, I think, the most important. I do get though that people don't want to lose their compendium packs for whatever reason. Um, I would I would think it's easier at this point for them to just export them and save them um, in a local backup once they're done setting up their compendium, um, rather than us trying to implement a whole interface for it. It's something that we'll definitely look at in the future, but at this point, in terms of basic functionality for the save points, we're done for a little bit now. Yeah. Yeah, the Ripper has already done porting those. Okay, yeah. He is working full time. I mean, it's impossible to do all the things he's done without working full time on it. Um, Dinesh also use compendiums to move scenes in and out as they are no longer needed. I think in that case, those would be world compendiums. If it's a scene for the world, it would likely be as part of the world compendium. Then you would move it in and out of the compendium for that world, and it would be part of the world save point. Um, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, some people, and it's actually even the suggestion we give most people is to actually use shared compendiums instead of using world compendiums. So yeah, that's a little situation that's a bit more difficult to manage. Yeah. Um, it's definitely a good suggestion, and it's definitely something that I have thought of. But as you can see from my hesitancy, it's not something that I have a good solution for at this time. So that's why I can't really proceed with it, um, with providing some way of doing that. Something also that's really I haven't mentioned before, but something that's worth noting with regards to the save points is that you'll notice that it doesn't affect your quotas. We don't have a limit of, oh, you can only save for a specific number of games, or you can only have a specific number of save points. We do have a retention on the autosaves, but those will last you at least 2 years. So it's a very generous retention, and you can enable it on as many games as you want. So it's um, it's something that we are taking as part of that world builder cost, the cost of storing those save points. Compendiums are generally larger, and um, I'm not yet sure. Like, I haven't done the math basically to see if we start adding both worlds and compendiums where it goes. But it probably won't affect as much. But anyway, I'll definitely have to think about all that. But thanks for the suggestion. Mouse. All right, personal question. Preferred game system for Foundry VTT and your five most have modules. Ooh. Game system is D&D 5e. That's the system I've learned and played forever. I've played one game in Starfinder recently, which was a blast. But D&D is the one that I play and the one that I've DM'd. So that's my preferred game system. Five must-have modules. I think Dice So Nice is an obvious one. Um, Dice So Nice, definitely. Personally, I like Permission Viewer. It was my very first module, and I think it's the must-have module as well because I can't imagine keeping track of who I shared which journal with. So having those little dots is very appreciated, and that's a feature that comes from Roll20. That was very, you know, very useful to me when I was playing on Roll20, and when I moved to Foundry VTT, that was the first thing I noticed was lacking, and I did that. Apart from that, I'm not sure. There's so many different modules that are so interesting, and they do so much. I'm not sure. I probably run about 20 or 30 modules in my games, but I can't list them off the top of my head right now. Hey D20 TV, just popping in to say hello before the campaign starts. Awesome. Hi D20 TV. If anyone wants to watch a D&D campaign happening on D20 TV's channel, they are one D&D streamer who we are sponsoring. Um, and they should be starting their game soon. You know what? I'll probably raid you once we're done with this with this Q&A. If you already started your stream, we'll raid you, D20 TV. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Let's see. You're making a Starfinder campaign mouse. Okay, cool. Uh, Yeah, we did Skittermancer, a Skittermancer one shot, which was actually really cool. Let's see. Units Forge right has been created. Units Forge right. That's cool. uh thanks. Thanks for that. Awesome. Starts in 30 minutes. Okay, cool. Um any questions? Anyway, I don't have the reflex to look into the camera when I'm speaking. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat, which is on the side here. So, uh, I need to learn those tricks that streamers do to be able to read their screen as well as look straight into the camera. Ooh, the dark matter universe. Oh, okay. I loved that show. Yeah, that was really cool. I was very sad when they canceled it, and there was a lot of outcry on social media about Dark Matter being canceled because it was pretty cool. It did not take itself too seriously. It was fun, um, and yet it was still a really serious and interesting storylines in that story. There's a Dark Matter book that's completely unrelated to the Dark Matter TV series, which I saw when I was in Unplugged, PAX U last December. I don't remember the company, but I did buy that book, which I then gifted to one of my friends. Um, it's called Dark Matter, and it's a huge supplement for D&D. So it's all D&D 5e rules, but it adds space travel, it adds space races, planets, FTL, how to do space combat, and all stuff to basically do a sci-fi game but using D&D 5e rules only. So it's just like an expansion with new races, new classes, new vehicles and things like that, which was really cool. And yeah, I'd recommend it um, if you want to look into that. All right, D20 TV, thank you for dropping by. Get your table ready and have fun. Um, yeah. Right now, the sci-fi shows that I'm watching and really enjoy is the Orville. Um, I don't know if you've seen that, Mouse, but it's really crazy and cool. If you want to talk about like a TV show that does not take itself seriously, that one would be the number one, right? Do we have any other questions? Oh, you have not. You should definitely see it. It's basically like Star Trek, but with like a comedy. Like they so do not take themselves seriously, like at all. It's so ridiculous. But the actual storylines and the themes that are, developed, etc., are really deep and interesting. It's almost it's so weird because you have this conflict of this is a ridiculous show, and at the same time this is such a serious show. So, but yeah, it's pretty fun. It's really good. Highly recommended. See, Stalker 23 has watched it, and they know what I'm talking about. So yeah, do we have any other questions? Or or are the questions pretty much done for today? Yes, it's the best Star Trek show without it being a Star Trek show. I think not being a Star Trek show is what made it shine. Um, I've tried watching Star Trek. I've seen a few seasons, but I was never like engaged in it. And I think Star Trek Discovery is the one where I actually enjoyed watching it and continue to watch it. Um, but I've never been a Trekkie. And the Orville, actually, I get excited when a new episode is out. Um, I feel like the latest seasons are less comedic, but they haven't lost that kind of feeling of what made the Orville great. But they just dropped trying to make a joke out of every sentence, kind of. And I think that kind of enhanced it to like higher level um, as a TV show. I do not DM a game right now. I did DM Curse of Strahd for uh, over 2 years. Um, and I do a couple of one shots, which are still within Curse of Strahd. Curse of Strahd is like my little uh, campaign that I love, and I always go back to it. But I simply do not have the time to do the usual prep that a DM needs to do. And so even when I do one shot, I always do the same one because I just do not have the time. Um, so yeah, um, no homebrew. I do not have the mental capacity to invent all sorts of cool stuff and doing homebrew. So that's why I stick to the script basically. Um, of I do kind of modify things. So for example, I would take the adventure from Curse of Strahd, and then I would take the top 10 Reddit threads uh, on the Curse of Strahd subreddit about the tavern or the character or whatever the next chapter is. And I would basically kind of mash up all of the suggestions from all of these people who played that chapter and gave their impressions of it. So I know, oh yeah, they probably make a good point that this is broken and I should think about that and things like that. Oh, this is a better idea than what the book suggests. So I kind of, it's not really homebrew, but it's just adapting the source material by mashing up their suggestions that I find online. Yeah, that's kind of how I do it. Um, but yeah, make my session super easy to set up. Thanks for everything. Well, thank you. Thank you for being part of everyone who makes the Forge successful. And it's my pleasure. I started the Forge um, out of a need to make the Foundry VTT experience as easy as possible to users. I've been very active on the Foundry Discord early on, and I was providing that support for people, telling them how to forward their ports, giving all kinds of help, and it was mostly the same questions coming back, and I wanted to provide something so those questions don't need to be answered. That's kind of where the Forge came from. So I kind of knew what issues people were having, and I knew what I wanted to do to make it easier for them to just get started playing. Um, and I mean that's where our slogan comes from: fight goblins, not servers. Too many people were faced with trying to fight against their servers or their routers or things like that instead of actually doing what a DM should do. Being able to make that happen for users is great. The less time they waste, the better the games are going to be. So, thanks. Oh yeah, Curse of Strahd is awesome. Fi just started also one on Friday. Um, it's really cool. We were actually playing Lost Mine of Fendelver, and um, some of my players, there was a new expansion pack for World of Warcraft. They decided to take like a month off because all their free time was going to be dedicated to World of Warcraft. So I found, the Dead House appendix as a one shot to do from Curse of Strahd, and we did that for some of the players. So we were like six, I think, and three of them wanted to take a break for a month, and the three others said, no, 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 we want to continue playing. So I took those three, added another friend to the mix, and we played that for 4 weeks. And by the end of it, they were like, no way, I don't care about Lost Mine of Fendelver. I want to continue in this campaign. And that's how I started prepping for Curse of Strahd with a 1 week notice, basically. And when the others finished playing their World of Warcraft, they joined back, and then we were playing with 7 players total at one point. For I guess almost a year. That was heavy. I do not recommend 7 players. Yeah, that was rough. I love the Forge, but I have to sit down and make a Chrome extension to make the UI look less big. It feels so in my face. Mouse, the reason it's so in your face is because I am old and I need to wear glasses and I need to zoom at 150% just so I can actually read what's written. um, the actual UI was we had feedback that UI, like, people don't want to be scrolling all the time for the content, so we try to make the UI a bit more condensed, I guess. And you need to have, I think we need a little bit more padding on things. But yeah, we're working on improving the UI little by little. You're obsessed with UI UX. Cool. I am not a UI person. I am not at all. Um, and UX though, like, simplicity has always been something that I've tried to do. Um, but like, my background has been mostly in writing libraries, so it was always about writing a library to make using another library simpler because their API is complex. So it's like, oh, you need to read this 100-page book of their API and use like 1,000 lines of code just to boilerplate create the first instance of your object. Then I would just wrap all of that into a smaller API with like 5 methods that just does the most common use cases, and then add another background API to give you access to the backend of the library so you can do more stuff if you need to. And that has been something I love to do. I'm thinking mostly like a GStreamer, for example, which is a pipeline for audio video manipulation. Um, that's kind of on the level of FFmpeg. It's used by many Linux video players and things like that. Um, so yeah, I did. Actually, you'll probably find that on my personal blog. I did like an extension where you can create all sorts of filters and things like that with relatively like 100-line code. Um, and from there, I've been obsessed with trying to make things easier to use for people, whether they're developers or actual users. uh, I've moved to and would have to redo that. Also, Travel Forge is so nice if I'm not at home. Yeah, yeah. Having things on the cloud is really, really interesting. Makes it so much easier to have everything available to you all the time, whether on your phone or when you're not at home, etc. Um, it does mean that you need to have an active internet connection and a stable one. Sometimes that can be a problem, but the benefits definitely outweigh the risks. Not the risk, but like they definitely outweigh the limitation of I need to have internet, especially in this day and age where everyone has, broadband internet that's stable and reliable. So yeah, never realized that Forge is the one website I don't have set Zoom in. um, yeah, I guess that's because the owner of the Forge has old eyes. It's all because of that. Anyway, any questions, or should we just call it a day now? It's been really nice chatting with you. And thank you, for stopping by and chatting with me and asking these questions and all that. Um, but let's see if we have some more questions or not. All right. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. Um, I don't want to like. I could keep talking for like an hour or two, easily. I don't want to do that, however. Because that's gonna make a boring video on YouTube later when we when we upload the video on demand. Um, so let's stop here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for asking your questions. Um, Fi is laughing because he knows because we have our weekly meetings and I can keep talking for 3 hours there. Um, so yeah, thanks. And I hope you enjoyed the update. I'm definitely super proud of the save points feature that we've released. And if you are not on World Builder, go upgrade now. It's great, and that's it. Thank you, and see you, I guess, in a month, something like that. Take care. Bye bye.